The prophet Isaiah was born approximately in the year 765 BC in Jerusalem. He was one of the major prophets of the Old Testament, along with Jeremiah, Ezekiel and Daniel. The ministry of the prophet Isaiah took place in the kingdom of Judah, during the monarchies of Uzziah, Jotham, Ahaz, Hezekiah and Manasseh. And he prophesied during the crisis caused by the expansion of the Assyrian Empire. He wrote the biblical book that bears his name. Today we will be talking about the death of the prophet Isaiah, but before we dive into this topic, I invite you to give me like this video, so you help us to continue creating more content. Your opinion is very important to us. Tell us in the comments what you think of this topic and subscribe so you do not miss any video. Let's start. The prophet Isaiah was one of the most used men by God in the Old Testament. The mystery of this great man of God was given in a time where Israel had fallen into a terrible apostasy against God. In chapter 1 of Isaiah, the prophet had a vision where the exhortation of God to the people of Israel describes the many abominations that they did. Let us read what the biblical text says. "Hear, O ye heavens, and hearken your land, for the Lord speaks. I have brought up children, and enlarged them, and they have revealed themselves against me. The ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. Israel understandeth not, my people have no knowledge. O sinful people, a people laden with wickedness, a generation of wicked, depraved children, they have forsaken the Lord. They have provoked the holy Israel to go." There was so much wickedness in Israel that they were compared to Sodom and Gomorrah. The sins of these men was the lack of compassion and empathy for their fellow man. That is why Jehovah told them that the multitude of their sacrifices were useless. Since he was fed up with those sacrifices, Jehovah demanded from them to do good to their neighbor, to seek judgment, to restore the aggravated, to do justice to the orphan, and to protect the widows. Israel did not obey this exhortation. But in spite of the rejection of his people, Isaiah's life leaves us many teachings. If they could not accuse Isaiah of anything, it was of speaking infamous things, because his prophecies were always fulfilled. They covered a very wide range, since he spoke many things that would happen with Jesus, long before these events took place with the Messiah. Moreover, he was called by some, the evangelist among the prophets. Isaiah's main mission was to prophesy, exhort, and admonish what was wrong in his time, and to foretell many events that would later happen as they did. In spite of having a fruitful life in his ministry, to the point of making many disciples and forming a school of prophets, Isaiah was very much attacked from the spheres of power. Since inspired by God, he criticized harshly the decisions of the king. Isaiah wanted to prevent the tragedies that would befall the Israelite people. From the power alliances were forged with neighboring peoples. This Jehovah did not approve. He wanted them to seek his face first, but they refused to listen to what the prophet told them. And this is why King Manasseh began to persecute the prophet Isaiah, because he did not agree with what he spoke. According to the book of Isaiah narrates that King Manasseh abandoned the service of the God of his father, and he served Satan and his powerful angels. And Manasseh turned his heart to serve Beliar, since this was the angel of lawlessness who rules this world, whose name is Mantanbacus, and he delighted in Jerusalem because of Manasseh and strengthened him in apostatization, and in consequence of this increased witchcraft, magic, divination, and augury, and fornication and adultery, and also a persecution was given to the righteous by Manasseh. According to ancient Jewish tradition, the wicked king Manasseh ordered Isaiah to be executed by sawing him to pieces, and to provoke this death sentence, a false prophet accused Isaiah in these terms: "He has called Jerusalem Sodom, and has declared the princes of Judah to be the people of Gomorrah." And it is for this reason that he was given an extremely painful death. The Apostle Paul in the Epistle to the Hebrews makes mention of the tragic death of the prophet Isaiah. In chapter 11 verse 37 of Hebrews he says, "Others experienced reproaches and scourgings, and besides this, prisons and jails, they were imprisoned, they were sawn asunder." The Apostle Paul in this verse is remembering the ordeals that the prophets of God went through, and the tragic deaths that they had. Here in this verse appears the word sawn asunder. This word specifically alludes to the death of the prophet Isaiah. According to the book of Isaiah, it says that the false prophets laughed while Isaiah was being sawn asunder, but Isaiah did not weep or cry out, but the Holy Spirit spoke through his mouth. until he was torn in two. Israel was always characterized by killing the prophets that were sent by God. That is why Jesus referred to it in Matthew 23 verse 37 as follows, "O Jerusalem, Jerusalem, who kills the prophets and stones those who are sent to you, how often would I have gathered your children together, as a hen gathers her chicks under her wings, and you were not willing."